All right, guys, what's up? So out here doing my normal work, doing the, I guess you call it 8 to 5, but for those that don't know, I own a 24-hour emergency roadside, so I don't have a 9 to 5, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm out here doing my regular grind, and I get a phone call today that I have a package. So you guys are going along with me right now to go pick up the package. Joey doesn't know that the package is here yet, so it's going to be just as much of a surprise for him as it is for you guys. So we're starting this video off with you guys going with a ride along with me to pick up the new parts for my 2019 GT Mustang. We're gonna have some fun with it. That's gonna be a fun project. We are doing something that there's not a lot of on YouTube on it. I looked before I purchased said product, and I could not find much of anything out there. There's just a couple of channels that basically did a driving review of the product, and so we're going to bring you a little bit more. We're going to those channels didn't really do much of a driving review. Once the parts were added, we're not going to do a whole big in-depth build on it, but you are going to follow us as we put the parts on the car. So we'll do a bit of an unboxing, and then we'll do also, we'll go in and out as we do the installation. And then after the installation, you go along with us as we test the new products. So stay tuned for that. We'll jump back in as we do the unboxing when I meet up with Joey. So stay tuned, stay with us. See you soon. Alright guys, so I told you I'd bring you along and show you the new parts that we got for the car. So what I'm going to show you with my stand-in camera woman here is we got, don't mind the mess in here, the full Ford Performance track kit. So this comes with a 1-inch lowering spring, the new fully assembled struts. It also comes with new rear shock absorber, the springs for the rear. Comes with all of the hardware that you need to bolt it all up to the car. Comes with the Ford Performance Pack end links for the rear, and I don't have them out of the box yet, but it also comes with the Ford Performance adjustable sway bars for the car. So all in all, it'll sit there and drop the car down an inch. It'll give it some better dampening over bumps and everything. Like I told you guys when I was headed over to get the stuff, nobody out there that I've been able to find yet on YouTube is showing the product and how it actually works. So we're going to do that for you. So stay tuned, and we're going to get it all added. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So now is the time to get started on our GT Mustang. We are putting the Ford Performance track handling kit on it. So this is the upgrade to the Performance Pack Level 1 cars. So let's do a quick look through all of this. Don't mind my mess. I know it's messy. I've had a lot of projects in here trying to get stuff done. So we do have a full loaded spring and strut. This is a 1-inch lowering spring. The dampeners are different for the car for the difference in the lowering spring, plus the added performance to give the car a little bit better balance. As you can see, the front sway bar is absolutely massive. When we go, we've got, barely any sort of distance on it. If we look here, the factory sway bar here, we'll do a comparison once we get it out, but you can see it's physically a lot different in size. One thing, since we do have the car in the air, one of the only things that's done to the car right now, factory resonator is removed. The only thing that we did was had an exhaust shop weld in 3-inch pipe in place, so we did not pay for any sort of H-pipe, anything like that. Car actually sounds really good. A little bit of rasp to it in high RPM when the exhaust is opened up, but not anything too terrible. I did already get started on this, guys, just to kind of see what we were looking at. So I've already got the passenger side unbolted quite a bit. Just to get through there, I do have to drop the cradle down. That's the next thing that I've got to do. As soon as Joey gets here, we'll start messing with some of that, if he can show up tonight. If not, then he'll be here later to help me with some other stuff. Here is the lowering spring for back here. It is the track spring also, so yes, it's a 1-inch lowering spring, but the dampening and the rebound coil and stuff is more aggressive than just the regular lowering spring for the Performance Pack Level 1 cars. Again, here is the sway bar. We'll do a comparison side by side to that as well. But you can see here the factory sway bar is tiny. Now, this is not a Performance Pack level car. This is just a regular premium package car. So it does have a little bit different stuff in it. So it doesn't have as thick of a sway bar. The idler arms are hollow on these, or the control arms are hollow and not as thick. So I do have the Performance Pack arms to put those on, plus the kit comes with these polyurethane mounts also that we'll have to press in, which I do have a press, so we can take care of that instead of the factory one, which if you guys haven't seen those before, if I can get the camera to focus, there we go. You do have the separation here and here, which allows it to move and pivot so that it's more comfortable for you as the driver and the masses to be able to drive. They do that because, yes, one, it saves money. Two, it does get rid of some of the MVH. And so that's one of the reasons why they do all of that. Doesn't help so much for performance. So we're getting rid of some of that stuff. So come along with us, guys. We are going to take care of this. I think this is going to be a 3-part episode. We'll see. We're going to have the installation of the rear, installation of the front, and then the drive to the alignment shop, plus our, how we feel about the way it handles and everything. I've not seen people online doing these, so I'd like to know, is there a reason people aren't going with the Ford stuff? Yes, Steeda and BMR make an awesome kit for a lot of this, but what if you want to stick with the Ford stuff, guys? That's what we're here to test today. We'll let you know what our opinion is. Like I said, me and Joey do drive this car all over the place. It is very dirty. You can tell it is actually driven. It does have almost 14,000 miles on it. So we're going to get all this ripped off and see just how it does. As you can see, the front has not been messed with. We'll get to that. Plus, also this week, guys, we do have a surprise. We've got one more upgrade that we're going to do to the car. It's going to be visual. It's not going to be performance in any way. So stay tuned to that as well. We'll go through that. Just a little sneak peek for you guys. One of the things that we do, as you can see, this massive mess of wiring and everything here. This is for my mom's mail car, which is the mess that is under the car right now. But we are actually converting this car over to right-hand drive. Like I said, she is a mail carrier, and so we're having to do that. Plus, while it was down, we pulled the heads out of it and sent them off, got them tested, so they're good. We got to put head gaskets in it, and so that we don't have to worry about it when we get it all back together. But just so you guys can see here, this is pretty cool for those of you guys that haven't seen any of that. This car, or all the stuff we got out of it, was an STI. There you can see true Japanese. They don't care about us because the cars will never make it here to where there's miles per hour. There is nothing but kilometers on there, guys. So just wanted to show you guys that little project that we had. We've taken care of it. We've almost got it taken care of. And then this is my baby here. It does need completely redone. It's nasty. It's been sitting. I'm super sad about its condition, but that'll be coming to the channel too. So just some couple of quick updates so that you guys can see some other stuff that we do. This is an absolute mess for anybody trying to tackle and do a right-hand drive conversion. Guys, it is not easy at all. So definitely pay somebody to try and do it. Unless you just have plenty of time and want to try and do it yourself, it definitely be satisfying for you you can DIY guys. All right, but back to what the episode is about. We got our Mustang here on the lift. We'll get going on it. Guys, pull you off of here real quick just so you can see the actual thickness difference between the two bars is almost double the thickness for these. And as you can see here, where the sway bar bolts up, you've got your two different ones here for your different stiffnesses, depending on how extreme you want to go. It is a track kit, but you know, you can soften it up a little bit depending on, you know, if you were going to track it. Some tracks you need a little bit less aggressive on that, so you've got that ability with this kit. Or if, like we're using it on the street, you can go a little bit softer and have a little less difficulty there. Okay guys, I didn't do a very good job at filming all of this just because I am by myself and there is a lot going on here. As you can see, we did get the spring out of there. I might be doing this the hard way. I don't really know. Guys, I'm obviously not a Ford mechanic. I'm a locksmith, but I do have some mechanical abilities. You do have to drop the cradle down out of the way to give yourself enough room to get these springs out. I've got my roll cart here from when I did work at a mechanic shop, supporting the cradle itself here. And then you can see the spring is still here. You do have to undo all of the bolts, which, like I said, you've got to undo most of them to do the kit anyway. As far as some of the control arms and the sway bars. As you can see, the exhaust did also have to come out. That was a really easy process. There's just a couple of bolts that go there and there. You can pull the exhaust down. I do have the active exhaust, so I've got to undo the clips, but that was all pretty simple. So we'll get going back with that. Here is the difference between the stock spring and the track lowering spring. You can see the progressive coil in this to give you some different ride qualities in different scenarios. And again, it is 1 inch shorter, or it gives you a 1 inch drop, not necessarily an inch shorter. So we'll keep going on it, guys. Okay, guys, now that we've got the car to where we can get it back up in the air, just so you guys know, you did have to drop the cradle down from as best as I can tell. This is my first sports car, American car, however you want to classify it. Definitely not a muscle car as much anymore. So with this being my first one, sizes are different, things are different. My first IRS car, so things have definitely been a little weird and kind of a learning curve. But as you can see, the nice Ford Performance lowering springs are in there. We do have to finish bolting up the rest of the stuff, but we did just get it back up in the air. Like I said, I did have to use my cart, my roll cart here, to support everything while I dropped it down enough to get these springs in here. We will get that back all going. Also, one mod that we did forget to mention, guys, is we do have the BMR IRS stiffeners here, the bracings. They did get out of the way enough to make it all work. So those will all also be going back into the car. There's no reason for them not to. A little bit more ability to stop that miserable hop that these IRS cars have, and hopefully this will finish it up a little bit more. So we'll get the video rolling again and start putting everything back together. The front should be significantly easier than the back, guys. We did have some issues. I am doing this by myself. Joey is not feeling the greatest, plus he's had some other stuff going on, so I'm trying to do this the best I can by myself. Those of you that YouTube and work on cars by yourselves and do all of this, I commend you. For anybody that thinks YouTube is easy, it is definitely not as easy as even I thought it was. So here we are. We're going to keep videoing this. Let's go. Alright guys, Joey decided to grace me with his presence. He decided he didn't have coronavirus, so he decided he was able to come out. It's kept captive. That's good. So we've got this side almost done, getting ready to put the wheel back on. It is a pain, I'm not gonna lie. So the difference in the regular performance pack cars and the track pack car on this lower arm here is this bushing is a solid bushing in the track pack cars and not in the performance pack cars. So we had to change that out. That took us forever. We had some mishaps, some all right aha moments, and either way it's done now, so I'll bear you guys the long process it took us to do that, and me searching for tools. Apparently in the shop, not only does the 10mm come up missing, but everything else you need at that moment. So we're going to finish knocking this out. We'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys, it's the next day. As you can see, I did finally get Joey to come over, and he felt good enough at least to help me get this side all put back together except for the sway bar. And the exhaust put in. But as you can see, the new trailing arm here, got the bushing replaced out. That was an absolute nightmare, but we got it. As you can see, that BMR IRS support still in there, still looking good. That is a pretty decent kit, guys. It's cheap. It was only $100 or something like that. And it did help the car feel a little bit better and not have so much play. There was no MVH from it or anything like that, so everything that you are seeing online, I did have the same experience with. But as you can see, that's a lot of forward blue. We'll keep going with it, keep knocking it out. This side is next. We're going to get this bushing here pressed out. It is a bit of a pain. Get it pressed out of there, get the new one pushed in, and then get the rest of this thrown back together. So stay tuned, guys. Alright, guys, so we've got the sway bar all done. Springs are in, struts are in, the idler arms are in. All we've got left to do for back here is to shove the exhaust in, so let's do that real quick. Ford actually made this fairly easy to do with one person. And it's in. All right, guys, and that there is the rear. I know we didn't get super in detail on this install as far as lowering the back part of the car. The kit is pretty self-explanatory as far as if you didn't have much experience leading through it. If you had any sort of mechanical knowledge with taking a car apart, putting it back together on the simple stuff, you could definitely do it yourself. We did have to drop the whole rear cradle and the rear IRS in order to put the springs in. There might be another way to do it, but everything I could tell and read and find online says that that is the easiest way to do it. You are going to need a new alignment once you get it all done, so it doesn't really make any sense to not do it that way. Especially because if you pulled the bottom bucket out for where the springs go, by that I just mean right here, this bottom bucket here. If you pull this lower control arm off and tried to put it all back in there that way, you'd be fighting that spring the whole time, where it was so much easier just to, even if you didn't have a lift, guys, and you just took with the car on jack stands and took a regular jack and a board and put it here underneath your diff. The rear diff, you can sit there and support that away, drop it down with the jack and use the jack to control the speed of it coming down. You can pull these springs out. So this is 100% able to be done on the ground. Also, guys, make sure that you do verify all of your bolt tightness with the Torx. I referenced Xander 13 on, Xander 13 on YouTube for kind of a guide on how to best do it. He did do it on the ground, guys. Everything he does is on the ground, so it's super relatable. Yes, I have a lift, and with that I go ahead and use it, but you don't need it. And he proves that very regularly. He had a link in his videos for any of his suspension stuff. He's got links to a website that's got all the specs, and that's where I used it. So go watch him if you don't already for any of your S550 content. He's got a great twin turbo S550. All right, so now let's move to the front. We'll see you guys up there.